TypeScript offers us a nice shortcut. I believe the docs call this parameter properties, where instead of having to first declare, a property and its type before we then initialize it in the constructor, which requires a bunch of syntax and extra stuff, because first we're saying, hey, there's this thing called first, it's going to be a string. We'll fill it in later. And then we say, okay, in our constructor, we accept a parameter called x or first. That's also a string. And then finally, we update this dot first to be whatever is passed in. And that's a little cumbersome, especially if you have a lot of different properties that are going to be initialized in the constructor. So we have this nice shortcut, and I'm just going to copy this class and comment that out so we have the original version. And then I'm going to show you the shortcut version. It looks like this. We don't do anything in the constructor. We don't have to. We don't need to declare anything up top. I'll leave score there, but let's say I'm going to work with first and last. I can right here inside my constructor in the parentheses, in the parameter list, not in the body of the constructor function, I can declare using the public keyword or private, or we'll see protected in a bit, public, and then the name of my field first, and say that it's a string. And do the same thing here. Public last is a string. And I don't have to initialize them in here. I don't have to set up a parameter separately from this. This is equivalent to what we had earlier. So this is a shortcut telling TypeScript, okay, we're going to have a public property called first. It's a string, and it's going to be passed in when player is initialized. So in this case, Elton will automatically be set to first. It's all based on the order. And then Steele will be set to last. So I don't have to do that initialization. I don't have to reference this dot first equals first or any of that stuff. That's the point of this shortcut. So it's a really nice little shortcut. Let's just take a look to prove that it works. So this is TypeScript. Obviously, I'm looking at JavaScript over here. But if we look at Elton, first and last have been set. And score is still 0 because I'm not using any sort of parameter to initialize that. It's always 0, so I'm going to just initialize that up top on its own. But this is a shortcut for when we have a parameter being passed in, Elton, Steele, and if I was going to pass in a score here, like 100 as your initial score, then we would do something like, if we want it to be private score, which is a number. And then if you have a bunch of them, here, let me get rid of this here. If you have a bunch of these, for me, the auto formatter puts them on their own line. This is really common to see. So it's a little different or very different from JavaScript syntax. This is not at all valid in JavaScript. It's a shortcut. And actually, if we look at our JavaScript, you'll see we end up with this dot first equals first, this dot last equals last, this dot score equals score. So it's doing the same thing for us. We just get that little shortcut. So that's really nice. That is, I believe it's called parameter properties. I just call it shortcut syntax. It's just a really nice little helper there.